quit hockey and started lifting weights regularly. I didn't really know about like bodybuilding per se, like going up on stage and wearing trunks and things like that, but I really liked going to the gym and developing my body and feel the iron in my hands and training really heavy. I didn't realize how strong I was until one day I went to a powerlifting contest in my hometown, and the top bench was 430 pounds, and I looked at the weight and I said, wait a minute, that's not very heavy. I went up there and I benched it like 19 times, and then I walked out. And then there was another, I was reading a magazine and it said Ted Arcidi, the strongest man in the world, can behind the neck press 360 pounds for 4 reps. Nobody's ever pressed over 400 pounds behind the neck, and I was already doing 405 for like 6 to 8 reps behind the neck when I was 19 years old. So I thought, wow, I must be a lot stronger than most people. That's the first, when I first realized maybe I'm different than other people, you know. One of the reasons I didn't really know how strong I was is because I trained in my basement by myself, so I had no real anything to compare it to. The same with my body weight. I never knew how big people were out there. Like within my first year, I went from 240 pounds to 300 pounds, and I guess that's outstanding. But I thought it was no big deal. My parents really didn't think much of it either because I just ate a lot of food and grew. Coming up in this sport, I've always had people thinking I would never make it, telling me I'll never make it. I don't have the genetics. I'm just a big oaf and things like that. The only support I've had in this sport was my parents. They bought all my equipment for me to train at home. They cooked all my food. They always believed in me and told me that I could make it. And then I met my wife, and she's been the biggest support of all. Thank you. Okay. When it comes to any special training secrets and things like that, I believe in training full range. Everything's full range. I really emphasize the negative and go to a full contraction, training in the maybe 6 to 8 rep range. Up till about a year ago, I used to only do half reps on certain exercises, but I found 4 reps are better. You develop the full muscle better that way. So I find that that's much better for mass. And I train each body part just once a week because at this level of my development, any more than that, I'll be overtraining. And I think it's a personal thing. You have to find, like when your muscle's ready to train again, it'll feel ready. You have to train instinctively that way. So I started competing and did my first show when I was 21 years old. It was a very small show up in Timmins, Ontario. It was way up north, and I got second place to a guy who weighed 170 pounds and I weighed 270 pounds. And that's the first show I didn't know anything about dieting or that you have to go and cut or anything. So that was the first show where I realized you actually had to go into a show. I learned what cuts were and things like that and dieting. So then I competed, I think 2 years later again at the Ontario's, and I got second there again. And then the next year I did the Canadas and the North Americans, and in the North Americans I didn't even make the top 10. I think I got 11th place. And at the Canadas I didn't make the top 5. I got 6th, so it was another bad year. Again there I made a lot of mistakes in dieting. The sports, you make a lot of mistakes dieting. Each year you learn as you go. And the next year I went back to the Canadas and I won the show, the whole show. Earned my pro card. And then I made my pro debut at the Night of Champions. And I weighed 325 pounds there. I looked great a few days before the show, and I made a few mistakes at the end, and I spilled with water. So I made more mistakes, but I learned a lot more there. So next year, I'm going to be doing the Arnold's and the Ironman. And I plan on being around the same weight, 325, but I'll be totally sliced, for sure, because I know what to do this time. No more favors for the competitors. Machines and holding up weight. I think I have to put some weight on the handles maybe. Just whatever fits.
Yeah, it's all hammer strength on the redefined machine.
Yeah. I always take a seat of balls before I train.
Okay, come on. Slow. Drive it, come on. Up. Come on. Up. That's it. Come on. Push. Up. Come on.
Yeah, good. Good.